If the body is a temple, why not decorate the walls? This is just a quote from Unknown. We're all in college. It's our time to make decisions for ourselves. A lot of college kids like to get tattoos or piercings. A very popular piercing is a nose piercing, but sadly, we're in a pandemic. A lot of places aren't doing nose piercings right now just because you have to have your mask down and your nose exposed. The only other option is for you to do it yourself. I pierced my nose myself and it turned out great. Within the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to pierce your nose, how to prep beforehand, and how to care for it afterwards. Before you pierce your nose, you'll have to buy your piercing needle and your jewelry. Buying the right needle is very important. You can't just use any needle. According to an article from Mason Miru, most nose piercings are 20 to 18 gauge in thickness, so use at least a 20 gauge needle to pierce your nose. Make sure you buy sterilized stainless steel piercing needles. These are sharp enough to get through your nose without much irritation. You want the piercing process to be quick and easy. Buying the right piercing is important as well. You have to start out on something like a stud so that your piercing heals straight. If you use a hoop, your piercing will heal curved, so you can only wear hoops for the rest of your life. I really like the look of a hoop, so I started out on something that when sticking out of my nose, it would look like a hoop, but when it was actually in my nose, it was straight. Make sure that whatever piercing you buy, it's made of gold, stainless steel, or titanium. Anything else could discolor your piercing area or make you more susceptible to infections. While piercing your nose is a fun decision to make, there are certain safety precautions you will need to take. You want to reduce the risk of infection as much as possible. This means washing your hands. Never touch a new piercing with dirty hands. If germs get caught in your new piercing, it can get infected, which is really painful. It also makes the healing process a lot longer. Thoroughly clean the area you're going to pierce your piercing needle and your jewelry. I burn my needle, soak the needle and jewelry in alcohol. While your jewelry and needle is soaking in alcohol, I numbed my area with ice. This helps a lot, especially if you're nervous about the pain. Once you can't really feel the needle poking your piercing area, that's how you know you've had the ice on long enough. Now that you know how to prepare for a new piercing, I'll tell you how to actually pierce your nose. Now that you've prepped, it's actually time to pierce your nose. This is where the fun begins. Find out where you want to pierce. I'll have mine close to the front of my nose. If you want to mark where you're piercing with a pen, you can, but I'm not going to. Now you just push the needle through your nose. While it sounds easy, there are a few things to look out for. Don't just shove the needle horizontally through your nose or else you'll hit this middle part. You want to angle the needle downwards so that it goes out your nostril. You have to push kind of hard to get the needle through your nose. You're piercing through cartilage. The faster you do it, the less it'll hurt. The first time I pierced this side, it took me about 20 minutes to push the needle through, and I really wish I just said 3, 2, 1 and went for it, instead of just pushing it through slowly. If you're squeamish, look away. But after you get the needle through your nose, all you gotta do is just take it out. You might bleed a little bit. Put your jewelry in. And now you're all good to go. Now your nose is pierced. Now that you've pierced your nose, I'll tell you a little bit how the healing process goes. Don't clean it with alcohol. According to an article from Birdie, it's too harsh for your nose. You can either use a saline solution that you can buy from pretty much anywhere, or you can make your own salt soak. To do this, you'll mix about 8 ounces of water with a 1/4 teaspoon to 1/2 teaspoon of non-iodized salt. You can either soak your entire nose in this solution to clean the area, or you can use a cotton swab, dip it in your solution, and then just clean around your piercing on the outside, and then on the inside as well. You just want to be careful if you're going to use a cotton swab. Sometimes cotton will come off of the swab and then get in your piercing, which can irritate your piercing and it can lead to infection. Other thing you want to try and avoid is playing with your piercing. This can open the wound and cause the healing process to take longer than the normal 3 to 6 months. It can also make you more likely to develop a keloid, which is a small bump on your piercing that's made of scar tissue. According to an article from Healthline, you can use tea tree oil to help prevent a keloid from developing. It can also help make a keloid go away if one develops. Tea tree oil is good for preventing infection too. You can mix some oil with water to dilute it and use that solution as a spot treatment, or you can just add a few drops of tea tree oil to your salt soak. Now that you know the entire process of piercing your nose from start to finish, from what to do before, what to do during, and after the piercing process, I hope you think about piercing your nose. Now that we're in a pandemic, piercing your nose at home is really the only option. I hope you have fun and stay safe.